I can. Oh, no, you do. Okay, so let's go ahead and come into mountain pose. I guess I should take this off. Okay. So plant your feet on the ground and bring your shoulders over your hips. And let's just close our eyes for a moment and bring ourselves into the space of our bodies in the moment. And just let yourself be aware of what's calling your attention today. Noticing your stress level. If you're carrying stress and where you may be carrying it. And if you are carrying some stress in your body, do you know what the source of it is? Is it external or internal? So sometimes our lives are just stressful, just due to circumstances, etc. Some that we're in control of, some that we're not. But sometimes our stress can come from an ache or a pain somewhere in our own bodies that we're tensing up against or resisting in some way. So, and it could be both of those things, that's when things can get really feel a little overwhelming when we've got external and internal stress. So while we can't do something about everything that comes into our lives, in our practice, we can at least practice letting go of the resistance. And we can let go of the resistance simply by just acknowledging that we're going to let go of the resistance. We're going to let what is be and let go of our control or trying to control it. Just, remembering and acknowledging that that doesn't mean we are going to let go of everything for good, but for the next hour, to just let go of whatever is right here, right now, to the best of our ability. And be open to new information, both internal and external, new awarenesses. So let's take 3 breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the mouth, in kind of an acknowledgement of that, letting go of the resistance. So as you exhale through your mouth, maybe even make some sound that really helps the nervous system, really triggers the vagus nerve. So whenever you are ready and in your own time, inhaling through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just letting the breath come back to a natural breath. Bring the hands together in front of your heart. And just try to lift the chest a bit as you lengthen up through your spine, getting long on both the front and the back of the torso. And relaxing the shoulders at the same time. Bowing the head. Saluting the teacher within. Solidifying your intention to be open, reflective, and non-resistant. And then asking for help from inside of yourself, either through your best self or a chosen deity. And just trusting that that help, that support is there already. You're just acknowledging it. And then releasing the hands to the thighs. Let's go ahead and circle the hips. So just widening the legs and going around the hips. I know so much of what we do, especially in the beginning of class, is very repetitive. But there's a reason why it's repetitive. It's because it works. These are the ways we discovered that really help us to not only get in touch with what's happening in our hips and our back, shoulders and neck, and also have the added benefit of helping us to release tension. At the same time, we're becoming more aware of where we are. Reverse direction when you're ready. I like to think of these poses, they're kind of like medicine, so because we're all different, we all need different doses, different amounts. And there's going to be some poses that are more effective for us than others. And then come all the way up. And like most medicine, sometimes less is more. Let's take some cat-cow. By paying close attention to the moment and to what we're doing, we can make sure that the medicine is what we need and is healing and not making anything worse. And last, exhale and come back to mountain pose. And then get either your 2 blocks or a bolster. I'm gonna use 2 blocks, but a bolster would work fine as well. And just put either the bolster or the blocks so that you can just sit your right foot up on the blocks or the bolster. Like I said, it doesn't really matter. You're just trying to get one foot up higher than the other. And then we'll just take the other leg out a little bit diagonally. And I'm on my heel with my toes pulled back. And then I'm just going to twist around to the right. I'm grabbing hold of my right knee with my left hand. So having the legs in this position helps to bring the twist up more in the ribs and the middle back instead of the low back. So you may not have really thought about that, but just notice how it's higher up in your spine. And most of us benefit from having the twist more in that mid back part, because that's the part of the back that tends to really, those vertebrae tend to get kind of glued together. And we get weak there, and that's the part of the back that if we stand or sit too long will really start to ache. Even more than, it differently than in the low back, because I know the low back can also start to ache when we stand or really when we stand for a long time. But that's generally coming from a for a different reason. It has more to do with your pelvis than tightness. And then release. Now just put both feet on the floor. And we're going to turn again. This time, just notice where the twist is with both feet on the floor. Can you feel that it's lower around your waist instead of up around in the ribs? And then release. So I just really want you to just kind of feel that difference, because it does make a difference if you're using your yoga knowledge to help you with something you may be experiencing. You're using it as your medicine cabinet. You know, you kind of want to realize where you're feeling something so that you apply or give the right medicine to remedy feeling or the discomfort you're having where you're having it. And if you find that you prefer one version over the other, it's most likely because it's the one you prefer is the one that you're really needing. And then releasing. And just to stay balanced and even on both sides, let's do the twist without the legs in that position. And then release. And then take your blocks or the bolster. I don't know if anybody, I think everybody's using blocks. Just put your blocks over on your right side. And we're just going to put the right foot up on those blocks, knees bent though. And I'm gonna go ahead and go to the side like so and bring the other arm over. So I've got my right arm to the inside of my leg and I'm pushing that leg back. As I push the leg back with my right arm, I'm then leaning back with my torso and reaching. So big stretch on the left ribs. And just notice where you feel the stretch the most. And you may not even feel it as much as you're used to feeling this pose because you've got your foot up, but we'll do it without the blocks after this, and you can just feel the difference between the two. And then go ahead and come up. And just come back to mountain pose. Take a second to just feel. And then move your blocks forward, go wide again. And this time we'll take the forearm onto the thigh because it's a little far down to do this. So let's just take the right forearm onto the right thigh and then reach the left arm over. And again, just observe the difference where you feel it. And maybe even if you have a preference, if one feels like it's doing more for you today than the other, or if it's about the same. And then inhale and come up. Bring the legs back and just pause. And then we'll move the blocks to the other side. And let's put the left foot up on the blocks. Take that left arm to the inside. And then just side bend, reaching down for your foot. And then bringing that right arm over, or, Richard, just leave that arm down, put your hand on your hip, your right hand on your right hip, and then just try to draw that whole right shoulder, right arm back so that you're opening up back to the right as opposed to closing off. But if you're free with your arm, you can take that arm over. Very different place where you feel the stretch. And then bringing that arm down, coming back to the center. And then just opening up without the block. And we'll take the left forearm on the thigh. And same thing, Richard, for you, just kind of opening back up to the right, or taking the arm over the shoulder for everybody else, or over the head rather. And then inhale, come all the way back up. You bring your legs back to mountain pose. Okay, so let's just do a little shoulder work, just to warm up the shoulders. So again, take care of yourself, but sit up tall, and we're just going to take the arms up and down a few times. And as you go up, just reach up and then relax as you come down. Inhale and go up, reach up, and exhale and relax down. And again. That's good, Richard. And then come down. I'm assuming you're not having pain, so, because if you are, don't do it. But if so long as you're okay. Okay, one more going up. And then coming down, and then rolling the shoulders. And then let's take the right arm across and just hook it with your left and draw it over. Don't overdo it. You don't need to pull on your arm real strong. All you're doing is looking for a slight stretch, either right here on this outer deltoid muscle or down on the outside of your shoulder blade. But, again, it doesn't have to be real strong because we hold our shoulders in this position so often that a lot of times it's already a little overstretched anyway. So, don't pull on it. Just hold it there. It's going to be the hold that is going to be more effective than the pulling on it. So you just want to hold it in this position for, a good 90 seconds. And that's what's going to relieve tension or stress that may have built up. You don't need to be pulling on it though. Just relax. Relax this whole arm bone down. And then if you like, because it's a really nice stretch for the neck, drop your left ear towards your left shoulder. And really this is more of a effective neck stretch than it is even a shoulder stretch. And then bring the head up and release. Just let the arms hang. Just notice what you feel. If that feels good when you come out, you can kind of feel you got more circulation. And then we're going to take the arm, same arm, you're going to roll it in, so from way up here, you roll it in. So it was rolled in before, rolling it in again. Take the hand back behind your waist. And so long as that doesn't hurt, you can leave it there. Or, if you want more stretch, then I would say, take the hand more up like you're going to take it between your shoulder blades. But that's quite a stretch because you're internally rotating and extending in your shoulder joint. So be mindful of how much you're asking of your shoulder. And if it feels like too much, keep the hand lower and with the palm away, okay? Just let it rest there. And again, it's going to be amount of time that you hold it that is going to make a difference in whether or not this is a good, effective stretch for your shoulder or not. Now, try to keep your chest up, and we're going to lift the chin, look up, keep the chest up, and drop the chin. And just go back and forth several times. Like that. Try to feel any sensation in your upper back, part of your back that's closest to your neck. And just feel when you lift your chin, kind of contracts those muscles on the upper back. Pulling the chin down stretches them. And then come back, release that arm, and shake it out because it's actually a whole lot more than it kind of feels like is happening. And then bring it across again, just not even nearly as strongly as you did it the first time, just barely, just so you can release what you just did. And then let go and swing. And then we'll take the other side. So left arm crosses, relax that left shoulder a lot. And the more you can let this left arm be held by your right arm. So it's the more that it's going to relax and the stretch will be deeper. You're not pulling on it, you're not trying to force anything, you're just holding it in this static position for about 90 seconds. And then if you like, you can take your right ear to your shoulder to get that neck stretch while you're stretching the shoulder as well. Relax your jaw. Look for any signs of resisting what you're experiencing and seeing if you can just let the resistance go. Let yourself be where you are, not where you think you ought to be or wish you were, or any of those things. And then release. Whew. Let that arm just kind of hang and swing. And then we will turn that arm bone in, reach back behind us, and again, just try to put it at your waist with your palm facing back towards your chair. And then depending on your shoulders and you know, just try to lean back into that forearm a little bit. Keep the chest up. And then chin down, chin up. So one of the things that I like to practice and kind of challenge myself with is how gentle can I do my practice and still feel a really positive effect at the end. You know, we get so caught up in that, even when we don't think we are, we get caught up in that everything needs to be progress. Everything needs to feel like we're getting somewhere. You know, and yoga really isn't about that. Yoga is about being where you are, not getting someplace that you're not. And in doing that, we can sometimes discover that being where we are is the most effective thing. I mean, it's where all of the juices, all the mystery is. It's where all the secrets are. And then just bring the head to neutral. Holding for a little bit longer. Still remaining relaxed. And then releasing the arm. And then let's swing both arms a little bit. And then interlace your fingers and just press the palms away. You're not taking the arms overhead. This is really more about stretching the palms, really opening up. Just like we open up the bottoms of our feet, just opening up the palms, really stretching out the knuckles. And then changing to the non-dominant interlace, and again, just pushing out. So especially if you have stuff going on in your shoulders, stretching out your hands is really, really important. It's just like when you've got stuff going on in your hips, stretching out your feet is really, really important because they will get much tighter when you've got injuries or issues in those joints that are higher up from the hands and the feet. So really keeping them healthy will help the joints that are higher up, closer into your torso. So now turn your arms so that the back of your hands are facing one another, your palms are facing away. And then lift one and put it on top and re-interlace your fingers. So like this, got the back of my hands, and then I'm just crossing over. So my wrists are crossed. And then I'm gonna relax and then bend the elbows out and bring my wrists through. And then come back down and go back up. And do this 3 times. So come back down and then back up. Now, when you come out, bring them forward. Notice which hand is on top. Release your fingers and just switch. Do the same thing. And one is usually a little more challenging than the other because our wrists on one side are generally tighter on one side than the other. And it goes a long way to keep your wrists and your fingers more mobile. And so just circling now the wrists. Going the other way. And then open and close your hands as wide as you can. So really spread those fingers as wide as you can. And then this and open. So it's not just, we're not just opening and closing, we're opening and closing. Okay, now, so we're going to stand up and we're gonna use the bolster in our chair seat. So I hear you guys, you're not gonna sit in your chair with your bolster, but I know bolsters are big, chairs are small. So alternative, if your bolster is too big to sit, like this. If it's too big for that, I want you to just try getting your second chair. And facing your chair seats together as you can, and putting your bolster on both chair seats. Okay, now caveat, while this works really well, if you're not pushing, like if you're going like this and you're pushing on your bolster, it's not going to be as secure. So you do have to be mindful and more active through your arms to control your props. Okay. So go ahead and get your setup however you're doing it. We're going to continue a little bit further with the arms. So we're going to do what we did, Tuesday, I guess today's Thursday, isn't it? Which is to take your palms up on the edge of your bolster, okay, where the fingers are pointing down over the side of the bolster, okay? And then you're just going to walk back until you get a good stretch on this forearm, under forearm area, okay? So it doesn't have to be extreme again, just needs to be enough that you're feeling something. So walk your feet back until you can feel the stretch. Relax your shoulders. Be careful not to strain your neck, and you may try taking your hands wide so that you're not scrunching your neck. And just Press your thighs back. And if turning the fingers down, if you can turn them out to the sides, if turning them down is too much, just turn your fingers towards the ends of your bolster. And push back that way. If it's too much to turn them all the way down. And then walk in and come back out. And again, just turn your wrists. Okay, so now with your hands wide again, I'm gonna go to one shoe, so don't need both of them. So now turn your hands in. So turn on your bolster where your fingers are pointing towards one another. Keep them wide. Okay, so hands are pretty wide. And then walk back, but keep the little finger side of your hand on down on your bolster. Don't just roll to your thumb. So you won't go back very far, and you're probably not going to straighten your elbows completely. And just draw your shoulder blades down your back, push your hips back. Try to keep your neck long. And again, this isn't about doing anything really, really super intense. It's just holding it. Okay, walk in, come out. Okay, so now you're going to take your bolster. So I'm not hesitating because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to remember. Well, we're going to try this. So put your bolster. I'm trying to remember. I think we did this on Tuesday, and some of you said that your bolster was too high to put your heels on. Am I remembering that correctly? Okay, so I'm getting some thumbs up. Okay, so what you're going to do then is you're going to take a blanket, actually, or two, probably two would be best as opposed to one. And you're going to open them in this way, crosswise. And you're going to put them at the end of your mat and just try to, stack them in some kind of decent way. Okay, so, and then we're going to put our heels up. It's not obviously as high as the bolster, and that's okay, actually. And then we're going to come into down dog with the heels up. Now, personally, for me, I like some height. So I'm going to actually fold my top blanket over a second time so that I get a little more height, so that my heels are up even higher. This just makes it much more accessible to get your hips up and to push back. It's not so intense on the legs. A great way to really open up the backs of the legs. So turn your legs in. Go ahead. I'm just watching everybody. So turn your legs in. So you're still, you want your legs kind of wide. Give your hips some space. And then roll your arm bones out. I would grab the sides of the chair seat so you're rolling your arm bones out. And again, it's going to be better if your chair's on something that's not going to slide on you. Now start to push your hips way back and lift your hips as high up as you can. So that's the purpose of the prop under your heels is to help you to get your hips way up. So really lift your bottom to the sky. Lift your belly to the sky. Mhm. Now push back. See if you can get your head between your arms. Keep the hips going up. Lift your thigh muscles, your kneecaps, your inner ankles, and lift your arms from your wrists all the way up into your shoulders. Pull back. So you want to get as much weight into the back of your body as you can. And then go ahead and come forward and out. Now, for this next thing, you can use your bolster, or I think you can use your bolster for this, and it won't be problematic in the same way it is for your heels. So just take your bolster and put your bolster just in front of your chair legs. And then put your hands on the outside of your chair seat. And then put your right foot up the bolster. So get your bolster in as close to your chair as you can and put your right foot up the bolster. And then step your left leg way back. Okay, and then turn that left hip towards your chair. So really turn that left leg in, turn the left hip or side of the pelvis forward. Okay, so this should really create stretch in your back leg. So if you're not feeling it in your back leg, you probably don't have your back leg stepped back far enough. Now with your front leg, I want you to really press the inner edge of your foot down. Push your inner big toe mound down and draw from that inner ankle up through your inner knee and directly straight back. So really pulling your pelvis and getting your weight back into that back leg. And then you can stretch your arms forward as you like. And elongate the spine and the legs. Easy breath, long breaths. And then go ahead and step off of that bolster, stand all the way up into mountain pose. And then we'll do the other side. So hands in the chair seat, left foot up onto the bolster. The heel is on the ground. I didn't say that on the other side. I hope that was clear. So your heel is on the ground. It's just the front part of the foot that's on the bolster, and then step way back with the right leg. And turn that right hip towards the chair and press that inner left foot down into the bolster. And then draw from the inner left ankle up through the inner left knee, all the way up into the groin. As you push back with your right leg, bring your trunk forward and reach your arms forward. Now there's the foot and the leg, the foot and the leg of the left side is going to want to roll out. Going to want to roll to the outer foot It's gonna wanna roll to the outer hip. So that's what you're trying to prevent. It's keeping all of that to the inner left leg. Inner left leg, kind of pushing it in towards the right. And then walk the hands back, step in, come off of your off of your bolster and stand in mountain pose. Okay. Good job. So we're gonna take Ardha Chandrasana. So I'm gonna do it with 2 chairs and the bolster. So I'm gonna take one chair back at the back end of my mat, and I'm gonna put my bolster in the chair. So you're not gonna be sitting on this, so hopefully you could even, I guess, turn it, put it this way, put it linked, well, now you really can't, because y'all can't put it through the back of your chair. So I guess I'm gonna just have to say that put it up on its side. Like that, like this. Even when these bolsters are big and round, they still tend to have more of an oval shape than a total round shape, like this one. It's still, it's not completely round. So that means you can kind of sit it a little bit on its side, like that. So try that if your bolster is so big it doesn't really fit in your chair very well. Then take your other chair. I guess I need to change so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna have my right leg forward, left leg back. So that means that when I am standing facing my chair, I want the back of my chair on my right side. Okay. So I'm then going to turn forward, and I'm going to separate my legs between the 2 chairs. Now remember, you want the chair back will be on your, if you're facing, it'll be on your right side. Okay, so the chair itself is on my left side. So this can get real confusing whenever you're going, when you start doing the pose, if you have trouble right and left like I do. So the chair is on my left side. The back of the chair, if I'm standing this, is on my right side. So is that clear? Make sure your setup is just like that. Okay. Now, turn your left leg out. Turn your right leg in. So this first little thing that we're going to do is simply to measure proportion. Okay, so we're not staying here. So all I want you to do is I want you to go over and I want you to see if you can get your foot on that bolster. Okay, so that way you can adjust. And so then come right back down. Now you shouldn't have to do what you just did, Mary Caroline. And you're actually not doing the pose the way I'm saying to do it. So come down. Okay, so listen again. This does make a difference in whether or not the pose is going to work for you or not. So I'm going to demonstrate. I'm not mirroring you. Okay, so that's the first thing you've got to get rid of that idea that you're going to be doing the same side I'm doing. It's going to look like I'm doing the opposite. So I have my chair on my left side, but if I am facing the chair this way, the back of the chair is on my right side. Okay? Okay, now, watch again. So I'm turning my left leg out. First of all, I need to get a little closer. Turning my left leg out. This is triangle pose. Okay, so you know triangle. Don't do it. Don't do it. Watch. You're going to learn better if you watch first. Okay. Then I'm going to take my right hand to the back of that chair and I'm going to come up and I'm going to put my foot up on that bolster. Okay. So this is what you were doing, Mary Caroline, is you did this. You did the opposite. So both of my hands. So this is an open hip pose, not a closed hip pose. So that's what I was wanting to correct. Okay. So here we go. Spread your legs. Turn your left leg out 90 degrees and place the heel right in line with the arch of your right foot. Stretch your arms. Now from your hips, shift to the right, to the left. Put your hand in the seat of your chair and stretch your right arm up towards the ceiling or put it on your hip, either one. Then turn your ribs up towards the ceiling as much as you can. Feel your feet. Roll your thighs away from one another. Okay, so this is triangle pose, nothing you haven't done many times. Now we're going to go into half moon, Ardha Chandrasana. Bend your left knee. Take your right hand, put it on the back of the chair. Now keep bending that knee, come up onto your right toes, and then lift your right foot and just put it up there on that bolster. So your trunk should be open towards, so Ross, you're going exactly the opposite. Now straighten your right leg. Straighten it. Pull the toes back towards your shin. And then lift it up high. Lift it off. There you go. If you can't lift it, leave it on the bolster, but try to lift it. Okay, so come down because everybody's still got it backward. Not everybody, but several of you still have got it backwards. So Cookie, you've got it backwards. Rosh, you had it backwards. Can't tell with you, Harita, because I have such a small little frame for you. But I know Cookie and Ross had it backwards. So I don't know if we can get this or not. So do you remember what I said Mary Caroline did the first time? So what you're doing is you've got your chair turned this way. And so while you've got you're starting off correctly, but then you're doing this. Okay. So I'm turning. This is a closed hip pose. Closed hip means that my pelvis is facing down instead of open. Okay, so this chair has to be turned around like that in order to open my pelvis. Okay, can you get that? You got to really get your mind in your body. Okay, we're going to do the other side. So turn the chair around once, put your bolster in that chair. Turn your chair that your bolster was in. The back of the chair is now on the left side when you are facing it this way. And then you're standing in the middle. This is such a challenge, isn't it? So much fun. So much fun. All right, here we go. Take your legs apart. Turn your right leg out towards the chair that's on your right. Turn your left leg in. Stretch your arms. Shift your hips to the left. Take your right hand into the chair seat. Okay, so right off the bat, Ross, you should be able to see that if you go to put that left hand, yes, exactly. Good. There you go. Okay, bend your right knee. Take your left hand, put it on the back of the chair, go forward, put your foot up on that bolster. Excellent. Now, push down into that right hand and turn your trunk towards the ceiling. And press your right hip forward. Now, if you want to try to take your left arm up and see if you can balance, this is a great pose for building core strength, great pose for building stability. There you go. Good job, Cookie. Good effort. Good. Beautiful, Richard. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Ross, yes, everybody. Okay, back to the chair. Bend your right knee, bring that leg down, and come back up. Turn your feet forward. Okay. Good job. I know, not easy. It's so much easier in person, wasn't it? Okay, let's sit back in our chair. Thank you for that effort. It does get easier. I know all these props and everything make it really challenging. Okay, so actually, since we've got everything right here, let's go ahead and just turn, or have your chair. You don't have to turn like I did, but just face your chair. And if you got your bolster there, stand it up and let's do a child's pose by coming forward and just resting the forehead on the bolster. And you can put that bolster right between your legs so it supports your ribs as well. Put your arms on the bolster instead of your forehead on the bolster. The idea here is to find a way that you can just relax for a moment. And then go ahead and come back up. Come back to mountain pose. Take a moment and just see where your body is. I can only imagine where your mind is right now. Probably still kind of a little tense from all of that effort, but just see how your body feels. Let's take 3 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And just give up all of the resistance, all of the judgment, all of the trying to figure everything out. Just really acknowledge yourself for all the effort that you made today. And then bring the hands together at the heart, bow your head, and thank yourself. May we have faith to know the divine enriches us, invigorates us, is present with us throughout our day. Thank you so much for being here, for your attention and your dedication. And until next time, namaste. Okay, my friends, thank you so much. We got through it. Okay, so I've got somebody waiting, so if you can sign yourself off, great. If not, I will.